Hi, Maya and Ronen. I think it is an excellent idea to develop a concise online course that will cover the essential aspects of computational biology, bioinformatics, genomics, systems biology, and data mining that are relevant to modern medicine. We know that these subjects don't get enough emphasis in the curriculum of medical schools, and in any case, the pace of advances in these fields is so rapid that even physicians that got some training in these fields a few years back would benefit from a systematic update. So, in this introductory unit, I will speak in broad terms about the data revolution in medicine. Let's start. I want to tell you about a recent study that looked for new therapy for cancer. A study that was not possible a few years ago. This is a study that came up with an effective drug candidate and established its efficacy on human patients within weeks. I know, this sounds fishy. Developing a new drug requires extensive study to decide what protein we wish to attack. This may typically take years of research, generating hypotheses, studying patients, taking samples, developing animal models, phrasing the hypothesis in molecular and cellular terms, and meticulously testing them in the lab. Then, once we identified the protein we wish to attack, you need to discover or even design a drug lead, a molecule that will bind that protein and interfere with its activity. Again, this may require years of generating and testing structural and molecular hypotheses. Eventually, you have to recruit patients and test another hypothesis, that the drug is effective. This is done in a heavily regulated clinical study. So, a new drug tested in patients within days of the beginning of the study, this is not even enough to phrase the first hypothesis you want to test. Well, that's exactly the point. This study did not generate any hypothesis regarding the molecular basis of cancer. It did not generate any hypothesis regarding the structure of the drug. In fact, it did not generate any new hypothesis at all. This study did not rely on extensive research in the lab. This study, that was not possible a few years back, was based only on data. This is how it worked. The researchers took electronic medical records of tens of thousands of cancer patients. And within these medical records, they looked for a drug that these patients may be taking for another disease that they have. Maybe some skin problem. Maybe some of them have diabetes. They were looking for a drug that was taken by the patients not because of the cancer, but statistical analysis of so many medical records may suggest that this drug also has an effect on their cancer. And indeed, the study identified a very common and inexpensive drug against diabetes, and they found that the patients who took this drug because of their diabetes had better survival than patients who did not take the drug, whether they had diabetes or not. This way, the study identified a drug without any biological hypothesis. Such study represents a revolution that took place in biomedical research in recent years. The study itself was not possible because years ago we did not have so much data on computers, and we did not have refined algorithms that will allow us to analyze millions of data points to extract such complex insights. The revolution that took place recently is based on our ability to analyze huge amounts of data, as well as our ability to generate tremendous amounts of data in high-throughput experiments. It revolutionized biomedical research in the following sense. Traditional research heavily relies on hypothesis. You think about the biological process, you generate a hypothesis, and then you test it in the lab. This new research says, let's look at the data and let the data generate the hypothesis for us. Today we have so much molecular and clinical data available for analysis that one may argue that it is somewhat irresponsible to start a study without first asking the data to generate a hypothesis for us. In this course that you're going to watch, we are going to discuss this revolution. We are going to understand what kind of data are available to us, what kind of experimental techniques allow us to generate data, and what is the data they bring to us. We will also look at the computational analysis that is absolutely essential in order to analyze these data and extract insights from them. And we will also understand the fact that this revolution does not stay on the bench, does not stay in the labs where researchers are studying biological systems. It also reaches the bedside and enables physicians to use data to deliver better care for the patients.